Hail and well met. Welcome to Fearful Symmetry. I'm your DM, Aaron M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels Saga and the Books of the Usurper. And I'm going to tell you about our sponsor. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, which includes Frida, Havlar, and Mehen from the Brimstone Angels Saga. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and Epic, Xbox One, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. If you look at the side of the screen here, you will see a code. I guess it's this side. Man, I'm backwards. You'll see a code for an Electrum chest. You can also type !code into the chat so you can get one you can copy and paste. And as always, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check them out at idlechampions.com.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held in a new space. It's throwing me off a little. I have two partners to tell you about. Norse Foundry makes metal dice. When you roll them, it feels like you're skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. You can find their dice and accessories at norsefoundry.com. Phoenix Dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes. That's because they use all recycled materials for their dice. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com. And I did not say my thing about me. I write urban fantasy as Rhiannon Held. And space opera is RZ Held. I'm a professional archaeologist and I play Artemisia. There, good, okay.
Yeah, and I'm Ying Yang Wang. I play Stong Mecca, the barrel-chested, barrel-wearing, very hairy heir to the Murder Bear tribe.
I'm Stephen Merlino. I play Kraban Gleer, an arcane trickster and diviner who you know by his stage name, Sturge.
Hey, I'm Trevor Bettis. I'm the writer of Vile Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And we talked about this beforehand. I guess I'll say this. If you want, right now during the game, you can play Feast of the Moon, which is the in-game event, and you can collect the champion Jang Sao, who's the newest addition to our roster, and it was part of the recently wrapped Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker, which we also have up on YouTube if you want to check that out. And I'm playing Florin Morn, who is 100% a warlock.
Thank you. I forgot that part.
I figure I can do that one.
It's been a long day, guys.
I literally write the blogs about them. I know what's going on.
Yeah, I think that might be, maybe that's a good shift. We'll just move things around and Trevor can do the thing. Anyway, but I said it's been a long day, but let's wrap it up with some D&D, which is always a fun way to close out the day for us, for you. Let's get to it. So, last session, you guys did some sleuthing about the nature of the world. You questioned Cyricist in Ilya's little closet room and discovered that perhaps what is going on is that the entity you had called the White Lady, who you now know as Pale Knight, a demon lord, is creating a new demon lord, and that this is the Rising Prince that people keep talking about. The Cyricist insists that Pale Knight stole something from his god, and that this is being used to make the Rising Prince, and it has to be stopped. You have continued to Llorkh to find Stong's Pale Shadow, who turns out to be a pretty great guy, it seems like. You've already gotten the key from him, which was the ancient orcish music that inspired Stong to become a bard. And you met Mirabelle, who is a 3-year-old ancient gold dragon. Because kids are weird. And so, having gotten the key, though, Stong Stong number one, as you have christened him, we'll call it, has invited you to stay for open bard night in the town of Llorkh. So before you get to, I should have asked this before, but before we get to the actual open bard night event, is there any prep you need to do? Has everyone got their performance ready, or their excuse to not do a performance ready?
Oh, I didn't. I now must do some thinking.
Well, Stong looks around the room at each of his fellow party members, like, Artemisia, you're surely going to do something for Bard Night, right?
Well, I can't sing, so I couldn't possibly.
Is there some other performance thing that you can do? Perhaps a fashion walk show?
I don't have any of my clothes. Actually, no, she's not like, she uses fashion as means to an end. I don't know if she'd enjoy it, but She's a little like, I mean, I could cast Crown of Stars and then just not use them. Would that be impressive? I don't know. Like,
I mean, it's up to you. I think it'd be cool looking. But I mean, do you have another talent? Like, you want to do some stand-up comedy? Maybe some fire breathing? Some.
actually,
I want Artemisia's stand-up comedy so bad.
What's the deal with all these shadows?
Rian and the player just had an excellent idea. And I think we're gonna go with Crown of Stars, supposedly. And then
Okay.
we'll see when we get there.
Well, excellent. Yeah, what about
Also-
you, Sturge? Oh,
She's looking over at Florin, just so you know, when she's talking about looking cool. And not at all upset or bothered.
I did not bring with me I didn't bring my valise full of puppets. However, I do have some socks, and I could make puppets out of the socks. And I think if I do, I'll do a tragic comedy with the sock puppets. It's a famous elvish tragic comedy. I think people will enjoy it very much. There's a lot of skin in it.
ooh, is that the one that's like super long, like 3 hours or 3.5 hours long with no breaks?
That's it. Yes, you've got it. And I think we'll do it without intermission. It's very difficult to do with an intermission.
Good idea. Keep it going. Yeah.
I might as well go first. Let me go first.
Okay. It'll be hard to follow up, but sure.
Right,
Florin.
okay.
Florin's been thinking it, and essentially the thought process in his head is something to the effect of like, well, I should probably do something. I don't want to be the weird guy sitting out on it. And so he's gonna reach into his pocket, and he's actually gonna pull out a pan flute, and he's like, I can play this. I could play something. It's not gonna be impressive, and I'm not gonna shoot for that, but I can do something.
You want to give us a little preview? So we see what we got.
Please don't.
I mean, I could roll a performance check to
Give
see.
me a performance check.
Let's see. Florin is going to try. He got a 19.
Mm,
Okay. What
this is-
kind of song does Florin play on the pan flute?
I don't know. It's
Like
it's
a
prob-
bawdy tavern song, like a haunting elvish dirge, like
It's probably something like more in the relaxing kind of thing. Like it's
smooth
just
jazz, smooth
Yeah,
pan flute
that's what I
jazz.
was thinking.
No, like- yeah, like I guess like soft tavern music. How about that?
Soft
There we go.
tavern
What's that
music.
guy,
Lovely.
What's the dude with the clarinet from Seattle area? Kenny
Kenny G?
G.
Kenny
Saxophone?
G. Yeah, no, I'm Kenny G. Yeah.
Sexy sax.
Oh, jeez. No, and I'm also not. Yeah, I'm not going the haunting way. I'm not doing Mr. Tumnus from Narnia. Like,
I was hoping you'd go body. I was gonna say that's the sexiest pan flute I've ever heard. Well, it looks like we're all ready for tonight. Unless there's something else anything we need to talk about before we go. We still got a bit of time.
So I had an idea. I don't know if it like pertains to anything, but I was thinking, like I want to make the example cockfighting, but I think that will degenerate very quickly. So like, let's say dogfighting, which
What's
is no
what is happening?
better, but
So we get two innocent animals. Okay.
Oh no.
well, that's the thing. Like, it's not great, but
How about Pokemon? Is Pokemon better? It's making small, adorable animals fight.
Yeah.
No, so I'm thinking like, so say you want a really good dog for fighting, like you don't like necessarily like train it. Maybe you just get like a yard full of dogs and like set them on each other and then pick one out.
Oh, like
And
the
I'm
most
sort of
poisonous
thinking-
scorpion. is the one that survives the jar of the poisonous creatures.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, what if that's this world? This world is like the yard, and like she hasn't picked her dog to fight yet. She's just waiting for them to like show which is the best one and like sort of cut each other down a little bit. I don't know.
Okay.
It came to me.
Yeah, that's great, because I thought you were still talking about performance acts for tonight. So I was like,
I was
where is
worried
this
too.
going?
The Cat's
But
Crown
now-
of Stars and be like, taking all comers, get into the ring.
Okay. Okay.
That's still on the table. I'm just gonna be honest.
Okay. Yeah. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. Because you know, how would you be able to determine? It seems like a lot of work to determine yourself as to who the most suitable candidate is when you could just have them off each other.
Small question. Just so I know. You guys before made Llorkh leave the room. He's still out of the room, yes?
I mean, Artemisia wouldn't be bothered about him being there. So
Yeah.
if it would be easier for the DM, we could totally say
Doesn't
that
matter.
this-
I just need to
Okay.
Yeah.
know.
No,
because I'm
Lor-
gonna chime in if I'm
Lorcan's
if
in the
I'm-
room.
Okay, Lorcan's in the room. He's listening to this nonsense.
So yeah, I mean, nothing against Bard Nate Song, but I was just like thinking about, the greater things that we have to figure out. Also, like the souls being damned and, that sort of stuff kind of weighing on my mind.
Are you suggesting that we should stop offing the potential candidates?
Were we
Oh,
offing the potential candidates?
Floor's just like, well, I mean,
But-
we took a lot of that tattoo, and infections are very deadly. I don't know what happened to him afterward.
I think you mean before Lurkin pipes up. He was very dead.
Mm. Hmm.
yep. So yeah, how about that bar party?
Does your plan suddenly become to kill everybody in this world and leave yourselves the vessels of the Rising Prince?
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm making sure that's everyone's shaking their head. Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. No.
We're like visibly making eye
Good.
contact
I'm
with
not
each other.
prepared for that as a DM. I don't want to do it.
Oh, murder hobo.
No, but I think Mia was more of just trying to figure out the intent of the white lady.
Because that's what we need to figure out to like get out of here more than just keys, I think. So
Yeah, I guess the part that kind of I still need to put together is if we get all the keys and we can leave, does that interfere with her plan? Do you think she would try to stop us, or she would just let us go?
Well, wouldn't it be an unbreach then if we leave, the breach is gone, except for
Exactly.
the series? Is that to her benefit? Seems it is, because she's going out of her way to dissuade us from existing here.
but then we'd be abandoning Ilya. So
We'd be abandoning the entire
Now,
world.
could we not bring Ilya with us? I thought we could.
We can, but again, there's a whole shadow world of people who are living, breathing, and existing that we would just be knowingly abandoning. Not to mention the fact that if we just kind of leave, we're also just pretty much letting her make a new demon prince.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Which is probably I feel like that problem's gonna show up in our world. Like I feel like that's that we're no longer just leaving a problem, we're just waiting for another to pop up.
That problem seems very high above your skill set. Stopping a demon lord.
I
Only
mean,
stopping the
yeah.
birth of a demon.
Yeah, I'm not saying
you
we-
just have to make peace with.
Hey, are you the rising prince?
Actually, also-
Sturge is just like just in case.
Hold up. Artemisia looks at Florin. Did you just called me Mia? Don't call me Mia. You
Nope.
lost that right.
Fair. Sorry.
Thank you.
Well,
So Bard Night. Didn't mean to derail us. Just want to keep people's minds sort of on the higher issues.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a really great call, especially because we only have one key left to get after we got the one from Stong number 1. And once we get that last key, maybe we have to prepare for some sort of last minute assault or intercession by the White Lady.
And did we work out some kind of deal to exchange the destruction of the White Lady, although that seems incredibly improbable that we could achieve that, for our souls from Mistress G? Laysa?
Stong scratches the back of his neck. He looks at Artemisia quizzically. I haven't.
But could we?
Oh,
Because one of you, Llorkh, perhaps it was you, maybe it was Florin, said that she's very upset by this White Lady thing.
that was Artemisia.
That's Artemisia.
Llorkh stands up, like hands out. He's like, "You should not contact Glasia. That's a terrible idea. All of this is a terrible idea. Not that any of you seem to be interested in my advice. You should not be here doing this silly Bard Night. You should be getting your keys. You should be getting a way out of here. You should not be bothering with everybody in the world. You should not be bothering with demon lords. You should not be bothering with archdevils.
Man,
But
I
while
only
you
want to do
decide
half
about
of
your
what
puppet,
you say.
while you decide about your puppet shows and your performance art, I am gonna go explore the city a little bit.
By the way, we've got you
Walks up.
down for 3 o'clock tap dancing.
Sturge, your humor is very refreshing.
Oh, I can tell because you seem to really react to it. You're a great audience.
This is my amused
If only I
face.
could have an entire audience of you, just you, I would be filled. It would really fill my cup.
Maybe
He
you
pats
could
your
give
cheek.
him a preview of your show. You know, just for an audience of one, Sturge.
Another time.
Hmm.
And he bounces.
He's rather a coward, isn't he? I mean, I have to say, just get out and get away and go do your thing and let everything else just go to hell. And he's not really much of a, I don't know.
I mean, I think he just gave us a list of things to do. Seems
Mhm.
like to me.
Well, yes, if you look at it that way.
Morally questionable NPC is like, do not do any of these things. The heroes go, thank you.
You know, and there's a good chance if we did make such a deal with Glasia that she might give us a tool with which to do it, because without some special tool, we might not have much of a chance against an ancient freaking demon like.
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Do I want to know what's going on with this person, or should I just kind of stay in the dark on it?
Which person?
Lady G.
Yeah, the G lady.
Oh, Glasia.
Took time to spell out the name earlier. Just full on says it. Incredible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was spelling it out. Why was I spelling it? I can't remember. But why? I thought you were fully acquainted with her, Florin.
You guys, I
No?
don't think, have explained to Florin what's up.
But-
Florin, you do actually make me an insight check real quick.
Insight. 10.
10. You vaguely remember when Florin number 1, when the Shadow Florin showed his pact mark, that your companions here said that's a Glasia mark, and he said that was Llorkhin's boss, which was how you discovered Llorkhin is your father. So understandably, that memory kind of got kind of
muddled, yeah.
buried. There were
Yeah.
other things. You don't know off the top of your head who that is. Your mom really made sure you did not learn stuff about the Nine Hells. But
Yeah.
the implications are kind of clear that is some important kind of devil.
Fun.
Look, we were going to tell you. I mean, we'll tell you at some point. I'm even afraid to say her name. She's got her brand on the back of my neck, so I feel like she's got some connection to me where even just mentioning her would catch her attention. And so we just enjoy a fun night in this nice, friendly, safe town and have a good time with these fine people and these fun monsters and do something a little different than, all the danger and peril that we've been used to having here.
I'm all for different, so whatever y'all want to do.
I mean, I'm all for tabling it until later.
I'm not gonna pry, so as long as y'all don't think I need to know anything, we're good.
Hey.
Maybe after a round of drinks.
Florin will offer to buy the first round.
Okay. So, you go out into Llorkh. The sun is setting low in the sky. It's not sunset yet, but the light is warm and sort of slanting. And you see people kind of gathering in the main town square. And there is a lot of ale flowing. There are definitely drinks for the buying. You see the frost giants have been at it for a bit. They are sitting kind of perched on the hillside, quite tipsy, drinking out of flagons the size of cisterns. Song number 1. I keep mixing up who's Stong number 1 and who's Stong A, but is kind of standing by the stage, like talking to a pair of orcs. And he sees you and he goes, "Oh, hey guys!
Hey, looking good, buddy.
Hey, same to you.
Guys,
I'm
this is
so
gonna be great.
excited." Are you guys gonna perform?
Oh, I
Yes.
think each of us came up with a little something to add to bar night. I think
Yup.
it's gonna be great.
Wonderful. I'm so excited. So he's like, "Go ahead, get some refreshments. Put your names on the list. And make yourselves at home. It is kind of your home. I mean, it's not your home, but it could be."
Oh, well, thank you. That's so kind of you. I mean, we really like it here, right, friends?
Yeah, it's chill.
Sure.
It's a little rough. You look very fancy, like maybe this isn't your kind of a place, but it's home.
It's true. Hey, Stong 1.
Yes.
Are you happy? Do you ever
course.
get tired of getting hurt all the time?
What do you mean?
I mean, you could just not get hurt sometimes. You're not adventuring, so you're just sort of, in a town living your life, so you could not get hurt for years.
But I don't understand the question. I'm just being a good friend.
We noticed that you've been taking a lot of knocks for your friends, but you don't seem to have quite the same curative abilities that I do. I'm wondering, is there something I could, like maybe some tricks I could teach you or
Oh
something?
no, I know how to take care of it. I just save it for other people.
Oh, wow, what a nice guy.
Well, that's what being a friend is. You have to be willing to do those sorts of things for your friends.
Well, I mean, you gotta use some for yourself at some point, right? You just sleep it all
But
off?
yeah, I can handle it.
Wow. Man, maybe he's tougher than I am, friends.
Mm.
So you can heal other, like, are you talking about like healing spells? I'm assuming, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if Song had some like innate ability to just regenerate or something.
He's part Hydra. We're just telling you now.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
Well, anyway, go ahead.
I mean, have you ever been hurt so bad that you couldn't go out and help your friends the next day?
Well, there have definitely been times I've been hurt bad enough that I probably, if I were someone else, I would have told myself to stay in bed. But my friends needed me, so, and that's what friends are for.
But if you were to like take so much hurt you couldn't get out of bed, then you couldn't help your friends, like, at all.
And if I were a bird, I could fly to the top of the mountain. This is kind of funny. This game we're playing, I don't understand. Is it different where you're from?
No.
Well, Artemisia looks at Stong A and is like, I mean, I'm hoping it's different.
Well, there's only been a couple of times in my life where I've been knocked down so bad that, I mean, one time it took me a few days to get out of bed, but I was okay in the end. I mean,
Well,
have you had that kind of experience?
well, to be fair, there was the time I died.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, that's rough coming back, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The first time is tough. The second time is somehow tougher. The third time, back to not too bad.
Whoa, how many times have you done this now?
I want to say 7,
Oh,
Stop.
but counting is a little. I mean, what's a resurrection between friends, right?
Wow, friends, this guy is much tougher than me 7 times. That's
And
amazing.
when have your friends helped you?
I don't understand the question.
Like, tell us about a time when your friends that you've made that they helped you.
Well, they help me by being my friends and asking me when they need help so I can help them more easily.
I mean, they resurrect you or something, right?
They did. That's true. That's true. They did resurrect me.
So you could continue to do things for them.
Of course, that's being a friend.
Well, when you were hurt and down, did they come and help nurse you back to health?
I took care of myself. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a burden on anybody.
I guess if you can handle it all by yourself, then.
And you shouldn't
Oh,
have to.
You guys are really interested in my life. That's very kind of you. I will go get you some ales. How about that? Everybody loosen up your voices for Bard Night.
yeah,
He
we'd
goes
love a
to
round of
over-
ales.
He goes over to one of the stalls selling food and drink.
Boy, I wonder
Don,
if
what
I
you
could die
thinking?
7 times and come back. only just
Artemisia's
done it
gonna-
Let's
once.
not find out. Let's maybe table that one and maybe never return to that table.
Artemisia's gonna step over to Sturge and sort of with JP like, I need somebody else to tap in. I think I've taken Stong as far as I can. You've known him a long time too. Like, do you know how to make him see what's going on here?
You're muted.
and I see what's going on here.
I mean, he's giving everything and nobody's giving in return. Like you can't sustain that.
Make an insight check for me, Sturge.
17.
So some of this I think feels like, well, that's just how he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you do notice the way that the Shadow Stong talks about this, that he seems to believe this is a requirement of friendship. And he must do these things, or he's not your friend. That your friendship requires him to do these things. That is not the same thing as someone being a giving individual. And that is a little uncomfortable to sit with.
Hey, I shall wait till a time when I think I have something to convince him that you haven't already said. I'm not sure that repeating what you've said, which is all I can really do at this point, would help.
That's fair. That's smart. But I'm glad that you agree that we need to do something.
I wonder. All right, well, let me think about it some more. Does Stong, our Stong, what is your take? Do you think what do you call that? I think there's a name for this. There's a name. It's something like dependent or something.
I don't think that's a realms word.
No.
Quick, on the spot, come up with a fantasy name for this kind of psychological conundrum.
Well, whatever it is, some kind of masochistic dependence. Do you think that I don't see you he doesn't see even a glimmer of what you're saying when you speak to him about it?
Well,
Or Stong, did you come close enough to overhear? Because Artemisia was trying to like speak privately with Sturge.
oh, my bad. I didn't realize that. I thought you just turned to him. No,
Well,
he wouldn't eavesdrop.
well, I thought we were all connected in the brain.
She's not using the brain.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, Artemisia, I'll think about this. Have you talked to Stong about it?
You just saw me trying, so.
Yes. All right. Well, I'll talk to Stong about it. Stong?
Oh, yeah, Sturge.
I don't think she expected him to literally.
Do you
Like a
believe?
disconnect happened.
Do you believe your shadow is in an unhealthy relationship with his friends? A kind of one-sided giving arrangement.
Well, I mean, everybody should be allowed their different ideals on things like friendship. If it works for him, it works for him. He doesn't seem unhappy about it. And it doesn't seem like he is, really being put out of sorts so far.
Stong, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What does Stong think the lie is? Or does he still believe there is no lie?
I think Stong still believes there is no lie, but his eyes are definitely, like open to the damage taking, and he, like he's noted it as something to pay attention to, and something to explore, like the topic to explore with Stong number one. But you know, he's every topic he tries to keep an open mind about what it is that the individual wants to express their ideals and live it out.
Yeah. That makes sense. So Stong number one comes back with flagons of ale for all of you, and he passes them out, and then Artemisia, he stops and he's like, "Oh, is this fancy enough for you?"
It's fine. She'll hold it. She won't drink it.
Those of you that do, it's pretty tasty. It is a little strong, but not jeweled strong, let's say.
I'm sorry, could I do an insight check on the Stong 2 and see if he...
There's no Stong 2,
There's
Sturge.
Stong number one and there's Stong A.
Stong A.
Because we were
That's your
determined to be
Stong.
confusing.
Oh, Stong number 1.
Okay.
Was there any glimmer of recognition or doubt in his mind when they were trying to convince him of that?
All right, make me a what's a
21.
21? No.
No.
He seemed to be genuinely confused what you were trying to get across. He seemed to think that you were the ones talking nonsense, but he wasn't going to say it.
Have we seen him being used? Like, I mean, there's lots of evidence of indirect using.
You have seen him throw himself into danger. That is what you've seen.
Twice now.
Twice.
Yeah.
You didn't see, like, Mirabelle didn't seem necessary when she was lashing her tail around. It didn't seem like Mirabelle was necessarily being malicious.
Mhm.
She was, I mean, malicious like a 3-year-old, where you can get some reaction out of pinching someone. Except she's a giant gold dragon, so she swiped her tail, right? The moon rhino was just charging around. It wasn't intelligent enough to know it was going to crash into somebody. He threw himself in front of that. So there wasn't someone manipulating him necessarily. He just keeps throwing himself in front of danger.
I mean, it's kind of heroic.
Yeah.
Well, Artemisia was just, she brought it up, and
Yeah.
now it's Stong A's job to decide what he wants to do with that information. So onwards to our performances.
Okay, who's gonna go first?
Well, I
You
think
wanna
we've
do our
agreed
duet?
that the 3.5-hour Elvish tragicomic epic
Should go last.
last.
I thought it was first. Stop!
there's
Your town is in for a treat.
We do have a time limit on the slots. Do you think you could do just like a 15-minute sampling? And we could maybe set up a performance tomorrow for the whole thing?
All right. I'll do it with my haste spell on.
Yeah.
I think
Oh.
I can do
So
this.
only an hour and a half.
I love
A
it.
clean hour half.
I love it. I love it.
I can do it. I will skip all of the refrains. I will hit the high notes and the low notes and cut out the middle ones. It's possible.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go get us started. You guys can find a place to sit down. And he kind of beckons you, Sturge, because he's going up on the stage to MC.
Okay.
So he puts his hands to either side and casts a spell, and which one is this? This is thaumaturgy that makes your voice really big. He says, "Welcome to Open Bar Night. We are in for a treat. We have performers from far away who are going to start us off, beginning with Clear, the Sturge, and his performance of, I forgot to ask you the title.
Armio e Julieta.
Armio e Julieta! Yay! And he makes way for you on the stage.
Stong number 1. You're the best.
Sturge comes up with his hands behind his back in sort of his black garb, long tails behind him. He bows deeply. He incants the haste spell, and then he produces 2 socks, one with big red lipstick on them and the other with a little feather cap on it. And he begins, except in a much faster voice than I can possibly do it. 2 households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. And he just like Mercutio, my boy, no, I died under your arm. And it goes really fast. It's a bit incomprehensible, but he's able to at least do the physical part so that so people can follow it. And when he finishes, he he's sweating, and the socks are a bit ragged, and the lipstick is smeared all over the one, and of course she dies, and then the other sock dies, and he continues the epilogue with just his hands, and curtain.
I don't want you to make a performance check. I just want that to stand as testament. But I also feel like your performance check is insane. So let's just see it. How godlike
Oh,
was
okay,
this?
yeah, that is true. It's pretty good. Ooh, that's almost his best one. So 25.
Nice.
Weirdly, it's like, have you seen those things where they flash the words in the screen so that because you're only looking at one word at a time, you can speed read?
Oh my God, no, I've never seen that.
So somehow your performance is like that. Everybody is so fixated on you that this motion of the puppets and the quick speech, they're captured. They're enraptured and they get all of it. A raucous cheer goes up. Stongwan comes and there's just tears streaming down his face. And he's like, that was amazing. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. What
Thank
a
you
way
very
to start. What a way to start.
All right, he leaves the stage and kicks back with some wine and enjoys the rest of the show.
All
That was
right.
beautiful, Sturge.
Thanks, Stong. It's been a while since I performed. I felt rusty. Did I seem rusty?
Not at all.
Hmm.
You were magnificent.
Oh, you're a good friend, Stong. Now I'm going to mark off one of my spell slots.
All right. Who's next?
Artemisia is gonna pretend like she hadn't said she would, and maybe people will forget about it.
Artemisia! Artemisia, where is she?
Oh, does Artemisia want to go next?
Can Florin do an insight check to see if she does not want to do that?
Absolutely. Artemisia will tell you what you know.
That is a 23.
Ooh.
When Florin sees that, he goes, no, actually, I said I'd go next.
Oh, okay.
Just gonna take
Florin Morn, everyone. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna play a pan flute and follow up that, which is kind of an act in itself. So yeah, he's just gonna
He's gonna clap. So Stongwan claps his arm, claps a hand on your shoulder, and he goes, "Don't worry, I'm sure you're gonna do great."
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, he's just gonna pull over like little stool, sit down, and start playing the pan flute.
All right, give me a performance check.
I'm actually gonna roll my new D20 that I got recently.
Ooh,
Yeah,
fancy.
so I'm gonna see how this goes.
See if you keep it or throw it away.
That's a dirty 20.
Hey! Again, you managed to produce something that is deeply moving on an instrument that occasionally sounds a little silly. It is relaxing and soothing and makes
kazoo.
people feel at ease.
And Artemisia like actually seems kind of impressed. Like she was really focused the whole time. And then it's only when you end that she sort of just like, oh, I'm distracted. I'm not paying attention.
Perfect.
Okay. Good job. That was wonderful. Sorry, I forgot. He claps for you. Everybody claps. They do like your music. And then he points at you, Stong. He's like, "You want to go, or you want to wrap up with?
Oh, I was waiting for us to do a duet.
You want to do a duet together?"
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know how the order of your shows go, but, maybe we can be the closing act.
I love it. I love it.
Artemisia has changed your mind, clearly.
Oh.
She wants
Oh.
to like
I'm so sorry. Come on up. Artemisia Terroron!
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's very clearly like got nerves, and so she sort of doesn't quite know how to stand, and she does cast Crown of Stars and it looks really pretty. She's got her wings out, but then she's like, and now what? And I've been waiting for a reason to use this, and this is a great one. She has draconic presence now,
Oh.
and she is going to blast the audience with awe inadvertently because she focused so hard on like impressing Florin.
Oh. Nice.
She's like, I can't do it myself. I can't do it by my own action. Wait, I can trick everyone with a spell.
Well, she does.
All
She
right.
doesn't. She doesn't know she's doing it, and like
Oh, she
until
just
it
doesn't.
happens.
Got it.
She's
Got it.
just
Got
like,
it.
okay, I got to be impressive, and then just like comes out of her.
All right. Is this a save? Should we make a save?
Yes.
What's
Wisdom
the
saving throw.
what's the flavor on the draconic presence? Like, is it just like a feeling exudes, like a magical feeling, like a wave of feelings?
So as an action, spend 5 sorcery points, create a 60-foot aura of awe or fear for 1 minute until you lose your concentration, or until you lose your concentration. Each hostile creature that starts hostile. So
All a name for
What is a
Hey,
crowd if not a
sure.
hostile creature?
I mean,
I'll allow it.
Oh.
I'll allow it.
must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed or frightened, depending on which one it was, until the aura ends.
All right.
What's the save?
Wisdom DC 19.
So
Okay.
do we choose or you choose whether we're charmed or
He
frightened?
chooses.
I think it goes, because I was reading it elsewhere. On the sheet it's small, but it goes with what she's doing. So she's doing the awe, so therefore it's the charmed.
Mm.
If she's doing the fear, it would be the frightened.
Okay, and if I'm not
Spirit-
hostile, then it just automatically works.
I think if you're not
I'm
hostile,
gonna
it
I'm
doesn't
gonna
do
rule
anything,
that
but
for
that's no fun.
purposes of getting up and making a performance like this, you count as hostile because you're judging
Okay.
her just tiny.
Darn it.
Dirge shouts, "Marry me!"
The crowd is hushed and staring. They are transfixed. They
She's
rolled real high, but
mine.
not high enough.
Stog also yells out, "Marry me first, then marry Sturge."
I said it first.
Okay,
Hey, Florin.
fine. I'll marry you second, okay?
Did you make the save?
Florin actually rolled a 19, but I think he is well, choose to fail it after that.
It's possible Florence sees what she's doing and you don't fail, but you appreciate it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say it's your character, you decide. That's right, you can be organically charmed.
Yes, Florin is organically charmed.
So Artemisia is gonna like actually get a little sort of like bump of confidence, and then finish off with a little bit of sort of like a flare, banish the spell, and then walk
Oh,
off the stage.
There's big claps. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Is there like a pot of flowers or flowers of any kind nearby?
Yes, there are
Stop.
flowers in the window boxes.
Stog grabs them, throws the flowers onto the stage, and then casts plant growth in the meantime. Just like
The bowl of
bloom.
petunias shatters on the stage and then brambles out in a cascade.
So there's flowers everywhere.
They smell lovely.
Wow. Sturge kind of crosses his arms, sits. Oh wait, he dispels magic.
Counterspell, yeah.
On the flowers or on Artemisia?
On the flowers.
Oh, okay.
He tries to do it as surreptitiously as he can.
I think it just stops the growth. I think the flowers, if they're physically grown, then it stays, I think.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So the other denizens of Llorkh get up and they do their performances. There is a band of orcs doing some very drum heavy music with like spoken word poetry. There is maybe it's a manticore that is reading its short story, which is not great, guys. Maybe it's too experimental.
First draft.
Yeah, yeah. But people seem to be like supportive. One of the frost giants stands up and does an incredibly drunken rendition of a traditional giant Edda. You think it's hard to understand him? He's very far away and very drunk, and you don't. Well, you might speak giant. I think most of you don't, though.
No.
A Githyanki group again performs a song, and it's like thrash metal, Githyanki thrash metal. While you guys are watching,
That sounds like Stong, actually.
It does, yeah. I'm into it.
Maybe Stong would play drums for them.
I would play drums
Uh,
for any of these acts. Even the Manticore, like reading a short story, I would play
Oh.
that.
Little soft
Oh.
bongo in the background.
yeah, you can go out there. You go out there during the Manticore's short story and play a soft bongo. Do you help it out at all? Do you have anything to make it?
Oh,
better
sure.
reading?
Yeah. Yeah, I have enhance ability, so I guess I'll cast enhance ability and give him Eagle Splendor.
Hey. It you know, there's something there, guys. There's something there. There's something magnetic about it.
You're talking
a
about the
little rough.
Githyanki thrash metal?
I'm talking about the Manticore short story.
Oh.
Oh
yeah.
It's
Okay.
you know, it's rough. It's rough, but
So
you know,
I want to know what the band name is for the Githyanki.
what's the band name for the Githyanki? It's got to be something about killing mind flayers. Just in my heart, that's what I think it is.
Oh yeah.
I think
It's,
the last like band name joke that what was it was with Trevor, group project vibes.
I like the idea that they're
Yeah,
just
I
singing
kind of
in
enjoy that.
Githyanki. And
Yeah.
so it's even more power metal-y because you're just like, there's just sounds coming at me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I
and
like
they use
Meyer
some-
Doug's The Ill
yeah.
Lithids. Is
Oh,
the name of the
Love it.
Githyanki thrash metal.
yeah. If you
band.
have more viewers, let's hear them.
The ill what?
The Ill Lithids.
Oh.
While you guys are watching, are you just transfixed? What are you thinking about? What are you chatting about? Is this everything you needed? Are you refilling your well?
Yeah. Sturge is kind of looking around the place. Is it really as nice and cheerful as it seems on the surface?
Kind of seems like it.
Huh.
Artemisia is gonna like sort of look at Florin, like, no, I'm not gonna talk to him. Look at Sturge.
Hmm.
And then she's gonna like sidle up to him. Well, maybe during the short story.
Hmm.
Um,
My betrothed, come sit here. There's a seat for you.
She did dismiss it. Did you uncharm everybody at the end?
Well, it ends after a minute.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You could still say it like as a joke, or I don't know, maybe Sturge felt something. I'm not telling you what to do,
Hmm.
but for the
He's
record,
legally
gonna,
binding.
he's gonna keep going with it. Yeah.
it's legally
Okay.
binding.
Well, so then Artemisia is gonna be like, so I don't quite know what that was. It wasn't intentional. Sorry. I'd never done
Inside
that
check.
before.
What inside check? Was it intentional?
No.
It wasn't. Okay. Okay. Ah, well, have you done it before? It
Mm.
was quite impressive.
Oh,
I
thanks.
saw.
I'm gonna say, with your insight, you also know that Artemisia, through meeting her shadow, has been struggling a little bit with feeling like she needs to impress people.
Oh, of course. Wait till I meet my god shadow. I'm gonna be.
Speaking of Sturge,
Yes.
Stalin was saying that you thought like once you met yourself or all the parts of you were gonna like not exist anymore. Did he get something mistaken there?
I mean, I don't know what will happen, but it does seem likely. I mean, it's possible that when all of the fragments of the god come together, they leave their vessels and transcend into the original god figure and leave us as we were. But I wonder if the god would have even pay notice to us. The vessels could be easily cracked without him knowing.
And you're okay with that?
I would rather be absorbed into the god to become part of the god. I don't know what would happen. It would be a kind of transcendence, though, don't you think? And not an apotheosis, but being part of something greater
But
than myself.
you wouldn't be you anymore. You
But-
would end.
Yes, I suppose that is one outcome, but what an insignificant existence we have here compared to that of the gods. And if I
So you're unhappy? So you want to end?
No, I don't seek an end, but I do seek fulfillment of my purpose. If this is, if you love a god, as I love Law and what he represents, then to become one with the god is all one could ever wish for.
Why not be like a cleric?
Oh, I'm a trickster. That is like being his cleric.
Yeah. So have fun being a trickster. Don't like end that.
But one day they must come out of hiding. And perhaps the fragment of them that is in me will simply be removed, and I will remain his faithful trickster here on this world. But perhaps I'll be drawn up into them in that moment.
Well, maybe you can decide to try to like make one or the other of those happen. Like maybe my soul is damned, but I'm trying stuff before then.
Is your soul damned?
Or yours is damned too.
Oh, oh,
You recall-
we'll take care of that.
Fails.
Honestly, I'd like to see her take that soul away from Law. That would be quite a fight. But if
I don't want you like, because I'm sure that cultist would love to be part of Cyric. Like you don't want to be like him, right?
Well, honestly, no. But I don't think there's any great risk of this happening soon. What I've learned already of this shadow scourge does not suggest to me he seems a fraud.
No.
I don't know what the lie is that scourge embodies, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe seeing it will make things clearer for you. It kind of did for me.
Yes.
Maybe it did for Florin.
I hope so. I wish. I guess the gods don't work in the way where they just tell you the answers. They leave it for you to figure out.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have some clarity in some way when I see this fellow. Perhaps it will be obvious. He'll be glowing with divine energy.
Have a big old sign on him. Give me an insight check. Roll
Me?
for intrusive thoughts.
19 insight.
When you talk about gods and clarity, you are reminded of the moment in the Temple of Suni this last time specifically, when you felt as though the goddess of love was looking right into you. The memory comes back, whether you want it or not.
Mm.
And what does that do?
Wall's different. He wouldn't see a spider. He'd see me for what I am.
Do you feel that Suni didn't see you for who you were?
Who's asking?
Me. Your intrusive voice.
Oh, I think she's an embodiment of beauty, and for her to cast her golden eyes upon me and see my spidery self, it's just it makes me want to hide. If Law saw me, he would see another trickster, a fellow soul, a mortal soul, but a fellow trickster. He would see me as I am. At least as I see myself.
Which is scarier? That Suni looks at you and sees something you're afraid everybody sees when they look at you, or that Suni sees you and sees who you really are?
Do you mean to say Suni in both of those sentences?
Yeah. You're trying very hard not to think about her. Your intrusive voice says.
Do I fear more that she sees me as...
You feel very strongly that if Hlal looks at you, Hlal will see what you really are, a trickster. And that if Suni looks at you, she sees only the outside. She only sees what other people see. She sees a strange, ungainly young man. Which of this is scarier? That Suni looks at you and sees the strange, ungainly form that you walk around in, or that Suni looks into the heart of you and sees who you really are? That she might think you're beautiful the way for what you are. Is that scarier? If her discarding you, or her appreciating what you are? Which one's more frightening? I'm gonna take notes here.
Oh. No, I would not want, I did not like, I felt a revulsion, or I imagined a revulsion in her gaze. That's the worst. I don't think she could see me for what I am. She is beauty. She looks upon something that doesn't fit her world.
This is very intense for you.
I don't want to feel that again.
Make me one more insight check.
(22)
Did you sense revulsion? Or do you only remember it because that would make everything fit together?
I don't know what I sensed. I feared revulsion. I expected revulsion. It's like all those pretty people in Aglarond. Their gaze.
The Illithids wrap up their set. And Stong number 1 comes out and says, "Well done, well done! They're a young band, but they can rock it!" Ready roars. Says, "Okay. It's time to wrap up the night. Gonna do a duet with my new best friend, Doggy!"
That's me! Yeah! I'm Stong A. He's Stong 1. And together, we're 2 Stongs! And a barrel! And he plops the barrel down.
And 2 barrels! And Stong 1 pulls out another barrel from behind, sets it down next to it. That barrel looks thinner.
Actually, I want to quickly perceive this barrel or get
Yeah.
some insight into it.
Huh.
Is it thinner because it's like more damaged? The wood is more sickly?
No. You feel like perhaps the lie your barrel tells itself is that it is maybe 15 pounds lighter than it really is.
Stong gets that
More of a
realization.
firkin than a barrel.
Stong gets that realization, looks down at his own barrel and pats it, and then he says, I think you're the perfect size. Well,
The barrel,
barrel.
exudes appreciation and comfort.
You ready
We're
for
closer now.
Stong is going to look over at Stong 1,
Mhm.
and then he's going to raise his hand and then just hit it dramatically once on top of his barrel. You hear the sound like reverberating from it.
Stong number 1 lights up and prepares his own hand, hits his own barrel, which being slightly smaller produces a slightly different tone.
I hit the barrel again like twice in like a quick succession.
He matches you and adds a little flourish.
Nice. Match the flourish. Start just improving a little more.
You are creating this beautiful tapestry of rhythms. Stong number 1 like hooks a foot out and pulls over a clay jug, and he's hitting the top of it to make that kind of like whoop whoop sound to mix in.
Yeah, so I take the alchemy jug, I pour out a little bit of water, and then I begin blowing on the top to make that like
Nice.
that noise. And then he's going to like motion Stong number 1 over, and he's trying to get him to
He's
trying
gonna
to
shift around.
communicate, swap some instruments. We're gonna swap barrels.
He loves it. He loves it. Yeah. So you do a clever little move. He shoves your barrel under his arm. We grab, what else could we add into this mix?
We're both playing each other's barrels at the same time, but just like,
Yeah.
on opposite sides. We're both just rocking out to the beat. And then Stong A is going to cast True Polymorph, turn himself into a mimic, and turn himself into a third barrel, which Stong 1 is going to play.
Wait, you're a mimic?
Yes.
Are you sticky when he plays you? Or can you not be
No.
sticky?
I could choose not
Okay.
to be.
Okay, cool.
I have a hard
Yeah,
outer
okay,
shell.
so he's gone around and he's playing all of them. He's like,
And I start changing my shape as he's bopping, so I'm sort of like matching,
Beautiful.
like the audio levels, how audio levels go, like when you
Yes.
see music. Yeah, so
Yes.
matching it like that.
And I don't want to sing, but I also know if I just start making up silly words, it will actually sound like a song. And I promised myself I'd do it. And I appreciate what you're doing here. I think you're making it so I don't have to sing. But Stong number 1 is drumming. And he's like, oh, they say you should never meet your heroes. But what if your heroes are your friends? Today I met my very best self, and I hope that it never ends.
The barrel protrudes a mouth, or the mimic, mimic Stong turns, protrudes a mouth, and he begins to sing along. It's
Are you
amazing.
adding a verse, or are we just singing the same verse again?
Just gonna echo the same verse, basically. He's just gonna be your background.
Beautiful. Yeah, he starts harmonizing with you. And then we come up with a big flourish. And then I don't have your spell list in front of me. Is there something he can do that would make a big like kaboom?
I mean, he could also
Maybe.
turn himself into a mimic.
Oh, what am I thinking? Yeah. Well, if he's a mimic, if he turns into a drum too, okay, he'll turn into a drum and you're gonna have to swap.
Yeah, or maybe
Okay.
we just start playing ourselves, like playing
I guess
each
that's
other.
true.
This is
Let's
getting-
do it. He turns into a drum, you're all playing.
Like with mimic pseudopod arms?
Yeah, like mimic pseudopod
yeah.
arms.
Yeah. It's nuts.
That is nuts.
You've
Artemisia
never seen anything
Storm.
like it.
They're blowing on the jugs at the same time. It is strangely compelling and cacophonic at the same time.
Funny.
And it ends as a big crescendo, and everybody cheers and claps. Best bard night ever. In fact, song number 1 changes back, and he's like, "Best bard night ever!"
Best bar night ever! Oh my god, that was incredible.
You're telling me I was the best. Yeah.
Boy,
Wow.
buddy, if you were back in my realm, I would love to tour with you.
That'd be amazing.
We could form a permanent band.
The 2 songs
And the barrels.
and the barrels. He pats his. He's like, "Good old barrel."
Man. So actually, like, Stong wants to scan the crowd during the cheers.
Mhm.
Like, is there anybody who seems like extra happy for Stong number 1? What about Mirabelle? Is Mirabelle also there? And happy?
Mirabelle is in bed.
Oh, okay.
Because Mirabelle is 3. Even if she's an ancient gold dragon.
That's very sensible.
So the raucous part, the performance part of Bard Night is winding down. There's still people sort of hanging around, they're drinking ale, they're having snacks. The frost giants seem to be passed out on the hillside. And Stong number 1 is just delighted. And you see Llorkh sort of moving around the edges of the crowd. What do you guys want to do?
Stong wants to take a little bit more time with Stong number 1. So if other people want to do anything else, maybe do that first.
Okay. So song number
Muted
1.
Steven.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sturge just wants to go outside and look at the stars and think.
Okay.
Yeah, Artemisia she looks like she wants to sort of like turn in for the night, but she's, waiting around for people, so.
Are Artemisia and Florin still, like, are they standing apart? Are they standing next to
Yeah.
each other? Like, okay.
far
Yeah,
apart.
like he has been thinking the entire night about at least asking if they can talk at some point, but he also doesn't want to just ruin the night. He
And-
wants her to be able to have a good time.
She's not speaking to him, but she's also not speaking to him. So
Are you, Artemisia, are you going with Sturge to go look at the sky?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Seems like a good
Um,
time.
So there are walls around the town of Llorkh. Standing on the wall is a great place to see out beyond. As you described before, Llorkh is sort of at the foothills of some mountains. There are sort of 2 rivers that come together ahead of you and extend out. And you're looking up at the sky, both of you. Can you make me a perception check?
Certainly.
20.
17.
All right. Both of you looking up at the stars. You see, it is beautiful out here. The moon is not out, so it is all stars. You see just beautiful stretches of constellations and the patches of distant. Well, I guess you guys don't know about astronomy really, but yeah. So anyway, and there's a moment though, you blink, and Artemisia, you look up, and for the first time, you see black veins stretch across the sky. And Sturge, you see it again too. It's just for a moment,
Sturge puts his hand on her arm.
and there's just a pulse to them.
Did you see that?
I saw it. that was really weird.
What do you see? What did you see?
That they're like black, but like they had black blood in them.
Veins, yes. Thought it was only. I thought maybe I only saw it when I was infected by those
The madness.
demons, but
Yeah.
but were cured.
Well, this world is sort of not stable, I don't think. So
What is the infection? Are we the infection?
I don't know that it's infected. Maybe it's just we're looking, if this is the dogfighting yard, we're looking at the fence. We're not usually supposed to see it.
Do you think these people are people or just like figments, like reflections?
Well, they started as reflections, but I don't I'm not going to say Ilya's not a person.
He seems like a person.
Yeah.
Especially given you both know Cecilia, who is ostensibly the thing that is creating Ilya. Those two people are very different. There are definitely some similarities. You both know Cecilia well enough to be like, yeah, there's crossover. The mess for starters, but Ilya doesn't feel like Cecilia. There's something else there. Whether that means he's in a very elaborate figment or his own person is a question.
Did Ilya say that the white lady, that demon that she is not just a demon of madness, but also of creation?
Yes.
So she created these people like a creator god?
You don't know. Maybe.
And then maybe she's just going to toss them when she's done with them.
She's a big deal.
I mean, I think we gotta, like you were saying, get a big deal on our side to give us the tools.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't even wait, because I was gonna say, Stong was right. It was nice to have the break, but maybe we shouldn't wait till tomorrow morning
To do what?
to call on Lady G, as it were.
Yeah. It does seem like there will come a time when sending those staple demons will no longer be enough if we continue to rebuff them. And she'll show up herself.
Yeah. Well, you go get Florin. I'll go see if I can get Stong A.
Why don't you get Florin? I know. You're having a thing, but I also know you both want desperately to apologize to each other and no longer be at odds.
Does he want to, though? Because what he did is he
Yes.
went to some other woman's house for the night and undoubtedly told her everything.
George,
Even
make
if
me
you-
an insight check real quick.
17.
You met Ko-chan. You definitely met Ko-chan. You did not get... You have a way with people. You didn't get vibes like that between
Yeah.
Ko-chan and Florin.
Yeah. There's that he had
You're
a
not
couch.
sure if Ko-chan has vibes like that for anybody, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's just a pawn to her, and he probably owes her something now for getting a place to sleep. Yeah, he definitely wishes that he could talk to you and apologize, but he doesn't feel like you will hear him. But I can tell you would. So why don't I go in and send him out, and you can pretend to be surprised. And
Well, why don't we? I'll talk to him after we deal with, Lady G and the soul thing.
really, why are you going to wait for that?
Because somehow that's
I
less
feel like
scary.
I feel like the answer is Artemisia will use anything to go. after that. I don't know if I'm reading this right, but I think you're like anything to be the next thing.
Yep.
Although I don't think he tells Sturge that. I don't know.
Oh no, she's just like, no, we gotta talk to her. We gotta get this worked out. Like my personal stuff, it's not important for right now. We gotta get everything with the world.
But
Like,
if he did come and speak with you tonight, you wouldn't push him away. You'd hear him out. And if he did apologize and throw himself on your mercy, you would embrace him and forgive him, wouldn't you? You want to, I can tell. Are you too proud?
and she's just gonna sort of disconnected phrases and just be like, I'm gonna go get stung.
Run away.
Okay. All right. Good.
Okay.
Good. Well, do I sense that she would? That
Yes.
she would? Okay. Excellent. Sturge.
I
Just
mean, if you had a high enough insight, well, actually, you should roll, and then I'll tell you. Like,
Make the dice tell the story.
Ooh,
Lazy little rocks.
well, I rolled a natural 1, but I got a 17.
Rogues.
Nonsense.
Huh?
I think with a 17, you get that like she kind of wants to apologize too, and she doesn't quite know how to go about it.
Okay. Good. Sturge is going to go straight in, grab Florin, and say, "Come here. It's an emergency."
Okay.
Drag him outside and say, "Look, I had a word with Artemisia. She desperately wants you to apologize to her so she can accept your apology, and she'll probably apologize to you too. But you need to make the move."
Well, that's
And
a lot of
then-
information.
And then an hour from now, let's just imagine an hour from now, the bliss of reunion that you will be experiencing if only you will step forward and say, "God, Artemisia, I've been such an ass. I am so sorry. I feel like I've done something that has ruined the best thing that ever happened to me."
A mug of wine just appears in your hand, Florin, and if you glance, behind you, you'll see Stong just like pointing, giving you a wink, like thumbs up.
You've
This-
inherited the worst wingmen.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. I would like to he would like to insight Sturge, because that like him having no knowledge of that conversation that happened, that sounds like Sturge BS. Like that sounds like everything's fine in the world, Sturge BS to him. That's a 13.
I don't know, DM, what do you think?
I think, Sturge, you're very convincing, but a 13 is on the edge, I feel like, for something that I think Florin is very stressed about.
Yeah, he probably
It's
can't tell.
plausible.
Yeah.
It's plausible, but it's also plausible that Sturge is genuinely messing with you. Sturge thinks all of this is kind of nonsense.
He remembers all the times that he was like, what if we just messed with all these people?
And in talking about, any kind of romantic situation, Sturge is very dismissive in general. So the fact that Sturge is a trickster by trade and by nature, and also, kind of thinks you are being ridiculous to start with, he's very convincing, but there is this niggling sense that he would also genuinely mess with you for this.
Oh my God, that would be so awful.
I'm pretty sure you proposed something like this last episode. Florina's gonna give a little cheers up to Stong for the wine and take a sip, and he's gonna say to Sturge, "Listen, I know that I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to give her some time with this because I feel like that's what she needs, and I'm not going to do anything that could possibly jeopardize what seems to be a really fun night. I'll talk to her after all of this, okay?"
That's exactly what she said. You are both cowards.
And with that, I think he's gonna take a longer pull of the wine and just pat Sturge on the shoulder and goes, "All right, you go ahead with that." And he's just gonna walk by him and out the
Well,
door.
Are you going to tell Florin about your contact the Archdevil plan? Or is he
Oh,
not
no.
in this?
Not right now. I mean, I guess I could say, that's what she said. Do you know what she said? Wait until we've had a chance to talk to the Archdevil and work those things out. I mean, and what flashed in my mind was our lives might end in that moment when we talk to the Archdevil. Do you want to end your life with this rift between you and Florin? I didn't say that because she dipped on me. But
Well, you know how you were saying that we had that we said the same thing and everything. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing now. I will talk to you later. And he's gonna walk away.
Dong, do something.
Me or him? Sorry, is song 8 with you? Is song 1 with you?
Mhm.
Or did you want? Okay, yeah. He's like, me or him?
We did do something. We got him a wine.
Do you think he's in danger? Should we
Oh.
protect him?
Mhm.
It's himself. He endangers
Oh.
himself.
Well, I
It's-
can grapple for that. Just hold his arms down. Can't hurt himself that way.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
a great
carry him that way, lift him off his feet, carry him
Okay.
to Artemisia, set him down.
You carry Florin, I'll carry Artemisia. And
love
then they'll
this
have no
plan.
choice but to talk.
He's gonna start after. He's gonna start after Florin unless someone stops him.
Well, I
No,
think
no,
Artemisia
no.
was
Stop.
looking
Oh
for
my
song
God.
A,
Just
so
joking.
she's probably going to come in at this point and
Just joking.
Oh, Artemisia, perfect timing. Come over here for a second.
so did Sturge tell you? I think we should get something done tonight.
Yeah, he did. But are you ready?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to call her. She like points to the back of her own neck.
Wait, call her. Sturge was talking about getting you and Florin to chat and make up.
Yeah, different conversations, really. But you know what?
Can you two let me and Florin do
Fuck
this?
yes. We will leave this space to you both. Come on, Stong, let's go. Stong and Stong, let's leave. And we abandon the space and leave Florin and Artemisia together.
Florin walked off.
Yeah, Florin
Florin
walked away.
walked off, and you
Oh.
stopped Stong 1 from going after him and hauling him back.
Yeah.
Oh, should I go get him now?
Oh, I think it's a good time to get him.
Yeah.
I've got Artemisia
I'll
here
go get
now.
him. I'll go get
Okay.
him. And you can try and pitch them on the thing they're supposed to be focusing.
So Artemisia, here's what's gonna happen. I mean, Stong once suggested it. It seems like a good idea. Like, I'm just gonna, give you a hug, and you'll feel supported while you talk to Florin. And Stong number 1's gonna hug Florin at the same time, and he'll feel supported talking to you. And
Look,
that way, both of you
Artemisia,
will feel safe because we'll be here.
I offered you the easy way and you refused. So now you've got Stong. Nothing I can do.
Okay, so what if I like absolutely promise to talk to Florin alone? We will talk after we talk to someone powerful enough to get us out of here.
So,
I think that's our
be-
priority right now.
so you'd rather risk our souls talking to an all-powerful devil lady
Our souls are already damned. So
than talk to Florin and work out your issue. Okay, got it. Seems about right.
You really ought to go to the devil with a clean heart. You don't want to go there with something that she can manipulate.
That's true. Actually, Florin could maybe give some good advice on this, because
well, no. Florin's soul is fine, and so we should leave him out of this.
but he's a
Like,
harper,
think of the
so
devil,
he's
here he
good at
comes.
secret dealings, right?
No. Florin needs to stay safe. He shouldn't be there to talk to Glacia. Lady
I
G.
mean,
your Mark is itching like crazy.
Is this
Uh-oh.
like Bloody Mary, where if we accidentally say her name 3 times throughout the
No.
episode, she just appears? Okay.
No, and in fact, I will give you this. You're not sure if that's. I don't know that Stong would think about this, but it might be psychosomatic. That when she says
Mm,
Glasha, it itches.
mm,
But also,
mm.
maybe she's watching you.
Okay. Well, I don't want to get him in trouble, but I do feel like having a Harper help us with our dealings we might get better results than us doing it ourselves. But all right.
All right. Stong and Florin, I need you to make a grapple check against each. Stong one is gonna try to grab you, and Florin, I know it's not gonna be pretty.
Does he have enough time to cast freedom of movement first?
No, you don't know this is coming. He comes
Oh,
up and
damn
bear
it.
hugs you behind you.
That's
I
a
just-
32?
Yeah. That's why I
What?
said it's not gonna be pretty.
But it's such a tight, warm,
Got
reassuring
an
hug.
18, and that's really good for him.
You really try to wriggle out of this grapple, but he just like cradles you. You feel like, you're fighting really hard, but it's almost like you're like a child in this giant man's arms. And he's like, it's okay. It's all gonna be okay. I'm supposed to take you back. Come on. And he just starts walking back.
Can he cast freedom of movement while in there? Because that immediately lets him escape it.
He says, they said Artemisia wants to talk to you.
Definitely tries to cast freedom of movement as much as possible.
I suppose so. How does that work?
So freedom of movement says the second paragraph is really a thing. The target can also spend 5 feet of movement to automatically escape from non-magical restraints, such as manacles, or a creature that has grappled it.
Okay. Yes, to be fair, you can do that.
So Stog's just carrying Florin, and he does like a few like hand gestures underneath the arms and says a few words, and then just slips right
Man.
out.
I don't know if you've had the experience trying to like make a child go somewhere, but at a certain age and size, when they know how to go boneless, that is like that you just like and slide out.
Yeah.
And Strong One is like, whoa, wait, come back. And he tries to grab you again. Are you booking it?
Oh yeah, I'm booking it with a total of 80 feet of movement.
Okay. He tries to chase you a little, but eventually it's clear you're getting away from him. So Song One comes back and he says, I told him that you wanted to talk to him, but he just twisted out of my grasp and ran away like he was on
Oh.
fire.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah.
Maybe he had another engagement. He was busy with something.
Yep, definitely could be it. Definitely could be it.
Maybe he
So-
wanted to join that Gith Yankee band.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to go talk to Llorkh and get his advice before
Oh,
talking to
yeah.
Artemisia. It's his dad, you know. And dads give great advice
Oh.
on like relationships.
That is the best part of being a dad.
You know what would be the best thing right now is if Mia turned into a wolf, tracked him down, and then turned back into herself again.
Like you can see, like, because she hasn't been running as a wolf this while, and you can sort of see
You want
that,
me to
like,
turn into a wolf and track him down for you?
No.
I am very good at helping.
no, it's good. It's good that he's gone off because we don't want him imperiling his soul while we do this. So Stong One, sorry, we gotta do
Oh.
something private.
Do you want me to do I need to like set up a perimeter? Something gonna come out? Do I need to fight it?
Well, maybe. Not gonna say it won't happen. We're gonna do our best to not jeopardize this Mirabelle, or your town.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Can I
But I'm
look at the
here
back of
for
your
you.
neck?
Sure. He pulls up his wild locks of hair and shows you the back of his neck,
Is there a mark there?
and it is unmarked.
Okay, yeah. I think maybe
Hello, Raiders. Sorry about that. Sorry for the
Hey,
interruption.
welcome, Raiders. Yeah, maybe you should go find Florin and talk to him, and we'll give us a bit of time to handle some business here with Lady G.
Okay, I can do that.
Step away
And-
from outside the city to do this, or I don't know. Do we want to do this inside the city? What exactly are we going to do?
Well,
we-
Stong, how do you call her?
I've never actually tried calling her before.
So you
But-
do know when you left Glaja, she pointed out that the mark can be used to basically get her attention.
Mhm.
That you are sort of meant to just sort of touch it and intend for it to do that.
And Artemisia, how is it that you know that Lady G is so upset about this?
Because I was nearly dead.
She went
You s-
down
that's
to the
right.
tadpole breath, and her soul sort of made it halfway to Malbolge, which was enough for Glaja to grab it and be like, "What the shit is going on?" So
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
there.
there's other reasons that Artemisia is pushing this, like the idea that we can get this whole soul thing like sorted, maybe.
I know you keep pushing it to sort it out. But do you think we can outwheel and outdeal the devil lady?
We can't lose more soul than we have.
Okay.
That is a
Sounds
fair
good
point.
to me.
Right now, you are as boned as you can get.
Well, all right.
Let's
So you
Um,
wanna
let,
do this thing.
we can go outside the walls a little. That does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you exit through the gates outside the city. There's a sort of a road that leads out toward the river and the big flat field of it, where with the water that cuts through. The sky overhead is starry, and it is quiet except for the sound of insects, the distant call of a night bird.
Is there a moon?
The moon
The
is
moon.
just starting to peek over the edge of the mountains, but it is quite dark.
So before I summon her, we should come up with a word to abort in case something's getting really bad.
Of course. You mean you can turn off the summons once she comes?
I don't know, but maybe.
I mean, I think she leaves when she wants to. Seems like.
Yeah, but maybe we will just know that something's really bad and we need to divert to a different course of action or something, you know?
Well, we have the telepathy, right?
I don't trust it. I mean, what if she dispels it or something? Just in case, you know. We've used pineapple before in the past. Is it time for us to change our password?
Wrong possibility.
Pineapple too.
Yes, easy to remember. All right. Stong touches the back of his neck. He begins to think of Glazia. Glazia, are you there? Give us a sign if you are.
So the world around you sort of buckles, twitches, shivered like the skin of a horse where a fly lands on it, twitches, and then it sort of peels back. And there is a void there, and standing in the void is an enormous woman with horns and hooves, an Irenaeus. She looks around and she looks very agitated. She's like, "Where is this place?"
Hello. You're not Glazia, but are you here
No.
representing her interests?
I'm here to take you to Glazia.
Um,
Let's go now. I don't want to be here.
You able to return us here?
Do you always ask stupid questions? I will return you if the Archduchess wishes it. She turns.
Right.
She walks back in through the rift,
Let's go.
but it stays
Well.
open.
Can't lose more than our souls. Da 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 da. Let's go.
Nothing to lose, nothing to lose.
All right. This is like a wonderful place to take our break. So spend 10 minutes. Everybody think about what's the worst thing an archdevil can hold over you. And we'll be right back.
Oh.
Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey. It's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey. Heroes on their way. Fighting together against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get your wallet there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
If you missed the first half, our party in Llorkh has gone through their first open bard night with flying colors. The performances were amazing. The town will never be the same. They have attempted to navigate some of their inter-party friction, and it didn't go great, guys. But they did decide that it is time, having witnessed once again the black veins in the sky, decided it is time to reach out to a powerful ally, ? Glaja, the Lord of the Sixth. And so, here, let me put the rose garden up, because why not? That's technically Artemisia's Glaja background, but I like it. Okay, so.
It didn't.
Why is it doing that? It's not picking the right thing. Okay,
just for
never
the
mind, I tried.
record, Yang Yang is super against this because he doesn't like dealing with Glazia.
I'm sure it's fine.
He'll be fine.
Do you like dealing with demon lords?
Demon
Nope.
lords. I'd
Oh, you
much
know
rather
what?
deal with it.
I know what the problem is. I don't have my green screen up, so it's like, I don't know what you want me to do.
Mm.
Okay, anyway. I'm not going to put Glaja in a messy office. Okay, so you step through the portal that the Irregulars led you through. And like the last time, there is this crushing closeness to the darkness. When you step free, you are not in the Rose Garden. You are not in the gladiatorial arena. You are not at the crossroads. You are in a throne room that is so large you cannot see the walls. They disappear into shadow. But before you is Glaja sitting on a throne built of copper, surrounded by gigantic buzzing hell wasps with blade-like arms, and more Irregulars, with their spears and their shining hooves and their great wings and their horrific visages. She looks down at you and she says, "You have a lot of explaining to do."
And you have a super cool throne room. It's very impressive. So, yeah, our explanation. Where would you like us to begin?
Let me begin with what I know. You failed to bring me the Emerald Hourglass that the Golden Raven was using. Which means your souls are mine. Which means when this one, she nods at Artemisia, nearly died, she began to come to Malbolge. And what I discover is that you are not on the prime material plane anymore. You are in a demi-plane of a demon's making. Are you trying to ally with a demon lord while I still draw breath?
Well, my lady, actually on the contrary. We're trying to both escape that realm and stop the demon lord, if possible.
We were hoping you might be interested in the demise of said demon lord, and if we were able to effect that demise, that perhaps this would be a trade we could make for our the return of our souls.
Or at least information. We have gathered information, and we can't necessarily directly attack the Demon Lord of our own power, but we can give you information and perhaps be your hands in this matter.
If you think your soul is worth information, that is a paltry price indeed. But I have to admit, the White Lady does not leave her labyrinth easily. You are in a plane of Pale Knight's making. Is that true?
It is.
Yes.
What is she doing?
Who would like to tell her?
Well, Artemisia is sort of like, well, information ain't worth much, but maybe we should still not give it away for free. She didn't say that out loud, but she's sort of like.
Well, we do have our telepathic bond.
Okay.
She
Is-
looks to the Irregulars on her right, and she says, Catessivany, jog their memory. The Irregulars steps forward, and you get the sense that if you don't comply, you're not leaving here alive. She sets her spear under your throat. Artemisia, you feel its cold metal point in a soft place right under your chin.
Boy, I think as she's approaching, Ston wants to step forward and try to like take point.
Artemisia is gonna like put out her hand to sort of like hold him back if she can, or at least for Stalin.
He'll stop when she puts her hand out.
Okay. So at that point she'll start talking. The plane was created to foster the rising prince, who, when crowned with the crown of Llorkh, will become a demon lord in his own right.
Gestating a new demon lord.
Yes.
That can't happen.
We thought you'd say that.
Did you say a crown of Llorkh,
Yes.
but not a literal crown?
Perhaps not.
Well, we haven't seen a literal crown, but
She's
The-
building a demon lord on a bedrock of lies.
She's raising a demon lord from possible candidates in the realm. It was suggested that I could have been one of them.
Glaja looks at you skeptically. She would not turn you into a demon lord, Stong. It's just not how it works. To become a demon, by not being a demon, you must be broken down to your very finite molecules and rebuilt bit by bit, turned to absolute evil. If you aren't starting with something very powerful and determined, it'll never get there. You'll just be demon food. To my knowledge, it's only been managed once.
What was the offspring of that?
Oh, our very dear friend. He wasn't always a demon lord. Our dark prince. The idiot Gratz. She's the one that made him that way.
Can I do a I the player don't know who that is.
Gratz?
So
Yeah.
recall when you met Glaja before, she gave you a task, which was
Yeah.
to enter the abyss in the Argent Palace and leave something there. The demon lord that rules from the Argent Palace is Gratz, the Lord of Azagrat. The guy who made you fall on your faces, except you, Sturge, you managed to avoid that. And some of you, Sebastian was maybe like a little in love with him. It wasn't a fan. But you get the feeling Glaja's not a fan.
Right. I don't have a visual of him, but okay.
Oh, tall, midnight skin, weird sexy. Weird sexy. Even you, Sturge, were a little like, oh, I get it.
Whoa. Okay. So she made him. Interesting. What did she make him from?
He used to be on our side.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, we can't have weakness in the ranks.
True.
She has the seed of a demon lord. She stands up from her throne and she starts pacing. You notice she's holding a scourge with copper beads at the tips that she taps against her hand as she walks behind her back. She's like, she's gestating a demon lord. She has the spark of something. She doesn't have it seeded, rooted. She hasn't made the thing yet. There's still time to stop it. I don't think you can kill Pale Knight. She looks up. You might be able to kill an avatar. You're not weaklings. You're quite impressive when you get down to it for the prime material, let's be clear. But I don't think you can kill a demon lord. However, you can make her day pretty miserable.
I
Yes.
think we could
Is
stop.
Artemisia still got the blade?
Yes, but when you say yes, like we are on the same wavelength, Glaja flicks a hand and the Irenes kind of comes back to attention. She looks the Irenes who looks like she is kind of disappointed about this.
So if we stop this process, it would be a significant enough service to you. The White Lady, she couldn't just restart. It would take her a long time or a lot of resources to try again.
One has to assume. I mean, you might be making this whole thing with Cyric up. I don't really know. They say he is trapped in his throne, and he can't reach the prime material except in dreams. So how did she get it? That's a great question. But that also
So-
suggests if she did, it's not easy. She'll have to start over.
Is it possible that the crown is an actual thing
With something.
and we could steal it?
So, Sturge, I will point out, you're not exactly equipped to hold a fragment of God. Something might happen.
Oh, I.
Wait, that can't be right. He already has a fragment of a god inside him. Right, Sturge?
Two, possibly.
All right.
Although I wouldn't try to hold it in my hand. If I were to grab it, I would have to use my mage hand.
You could find this crown of Cyric, and you could take it. She wouldn't be able to finish. Now, to be clear, I don't think there is a crown that's too. Well, it's a very mortal thing
Hmm.
to have something very simple like that. But some piece, some fragment. Gods are very frangible when you get down to it. So maybe you know about that. She looks at Sturge. If you can find and destroy the crown of Cyric, I would consider a deal.
Roy, destroy. Not steal and bring to you.
What do I want with lies?
I don't know, but then you can destroy it. I have
Do you
destroyed.
know how we can destroy it? I assume it's
Well,
not
it
as
depends.
simple as just hitting it real hard.
Sorry. I just love that very straightforward, like, possible answer of like, we just smashed it. We stepped on it. The heel.
Hmm.
She pauses and she says, perhaps if you take it, if you disrupt this, if you kill the Rising Prince, you stop this creation of hers, this new son she's raising. Perhaps that is enough. And yes, if you bring it to me, I will give it to my Lord Father, and he can destroy it or subsume it. But it must be carefully enclosed.
In a
We are not
lead
demons,
canister,
after all.
say?
Perhaps. Or put it inside something else. Put it inside something living if you want. And I'll take it with me. These are problems that I leave to you to solve.
What are you gonna do with the living container if we bring it to you?
She looks at you like you've just asked, like, what are you gonna do with that cup when you're done drinking out of it? Like, what?
Yeah,
She's
okay.
like,
And if we do this, then our souls will be ours again.
yes. Provided you can finish before Pale Knight notices.
Now, once she does notice, do you suspect she would leave her labyrinth, or would she just be angry as hell in her labyrinth?
I have absolutely no idea. Artemisia mentioned that she saw her, that you all saw her. And it is common knowledge that Pale Knight doesn't leave for Bone Castle in the labyrinth. So she is. And now everything is up for discussion, it seems like. People aren't following their own rules.
Yeah, where would we be without rules? So, speaking of that, though, can I hear your guarantee of what you're actually offering us if we do this service for you?
If
Like,
you
make it simple, make it plain for me.
If you disrupt Pale Knight's plan and destroy the Rising Prince, thus preventing another Demon Lord from entering the Abyss, then I will give you back ownership of your souls, as previously bargained in the deal to recover the Emerald Hourglass, which you failed and therefore reverted back to the clause on failure in the boilerplate.
Yeah. We tried. It wasn't our proudest moment. So, all right. And that means, so either we could do it any number of ways. We could destroy the crown. We could bring it to you. We could defeat the Rising Prince ourselves, if possible. Any
You could
of
kill
those.
Pale Knight. I certainly would be disappointed in that.
Okay.
Do you have a powerful relic we could use for that purpose? Just to make up for our puny mortal impotence?
Can we browse your armory?
She sort of looks at Stong for a moment, and then she retreats to a table, kind of behind her throne, not quite into the shadows, but at the edge of them. She opens a drawer and she takes out a stone tablet, let's say. Carved into this, it's dark green stone, and carved into it is the face of a devil that seems, as the light hits it, it seems to be sort of like snarling, but then it shifts and it seems to be very like inviting. And she comes up to him and she turns it over, and on the backside you see a rose wrapped in brambly thorns. And she says to you, "This should help." And then she slams it into your chest, Stong. You feel just this scraping, like thorns are sinking into your skin, and a weight, a heaviness in your sternum. But when she takes her hands away, there is nothing.
I try my darndest to not show that it's so painful. Just, stoically let it happen because he's just surprised. But he doesn't want to alarm his friends. And afterwards, he gingerly rubs the area on his chest where it entered. What does it feel like?
Your skin feels the same, but there is this fine prickling. Also, you feel like there are splinters in your skin almost, but it's smooth. There's nothing. Well, there's your prodigious chest hair, which I imagine Strong has. But there are not, these splinters, and again, there's a weight there. And she says to you, I don't have time to make a pact or anything like that, so take these. These are two very powerful spells. She lays her hand against your chest again, and you hear whispering in your ears. And you know that if you reach for that, you will have extremely powerful magic. But she sort of tilts her head and she says, don't get too excited about it. There's always a cost.
Guys, I'm okay. I'm fine.
Good.
Question. What happened to the stone you pressed into Stong? Is there a demon in him or a devil in him now?
No, why would I do that?
Because that could be very powerful and helpful. What was that?
I'm sensing some things from it, Sturge. Like there's magic that I never comprehended before that's flowing, whispering on the edges of my consciousness. I can't quite grasp what it is yet, but it feels like power.
Lazia smiles. And she says, exactly. The Nine Hells is really the master of two things. Impressing your will upon the greater reality, and the mastery over the dead. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. As you're talking, though, you guys notice something. The shadows around you seem to be sort of pulsing. That pulsing is getting stronger, but it almost feels like it's starting to collapse in on you a little bit. You feel like the throne room is getting smaller.
Do you see this, my lady?
I don't think you have much time here.
Right. Where's the portal?
She points behind you.
Right. Going. Come along. Thank you.
The
Yeah, I thought
enemies
that
in
was-
front of you are getting very agitated.
Yeah. Let's go.
I thought that was her, squeezing the room as a passive aggressive way of being like, "Yes, leave." Shoot.
No, you also looking at Glacius. She seems to be getting very. There's this talking to Glacia. There is this almost roller coaster. She seems very like Artemisia when she talked to you the first time in the Rose Garden. She was just a sweet young woman that you could really get along with. But there is this almost switch that turns in her, and you see this rage, like the endless fire you imagine at the pit of hell. You see the daughter of the king of the hells in full glory, and when the room starts twitching like that, you see that rage just flare in her black eyes, that someone is messing around here with this space she created, and she does not like it.
Getting out of here. Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, we back bowing through the portal.
So you guys get back out. The door slams shut behind you, and that pulsing is still kind of happening in your against your ears, like something is flexing. But Florin, you have run off into the night while they're getting up to these shenanigans. So let's just have a little bit of a gear shift here. What are you doing? Where are you going?
I don't know. It definitely, he runs away from Stong A and gets away. I think he would end up actually just kind of going for a walk, because this is really the first time, other than the walk to from Ilya's to Kochin's place, the first time he's just by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
That
he
is
just
true.
kind of spent some time walking around and thinking and kind of going over everything that has happened in the past few days because it's been a lot of stuff.
It has been a lot of stuff. You've learned things about you. You've learned things about this girl that you kind of into. And this is more complex, isn't it? Because Florin, you found those letters that were sent to Viscaris. Those very weird letters that weren't letters. They were sort of lists and diary entries, and
Mhm.
you did not understand this. But here's the question. You looked at those letters and didn't throw them out. What was the thought process here? You got nonsense. You didn't show it to Viscaris. You didn't throw it in the trash.
His thought process was like I still don't think he had actually decided what he was going to do. And also it was one of those things where it's like he never expected to come face to face with the person that wrote those, so it was just kind of a detachment sort of thing. And he'd probably been playing around with the idea of like maybe I should give it to Viscaris. Preface, like I don't know what's going on here. This was addressed to you. I opened it. That happens. And let him deal
Not
with
the first piece of mail you opened of his.
it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think Florin imagined the person that wrote these? When you
Yeah,
read this?
probably.
Yeah.
He probably tried to like shape some idea of who that person was.
So you feel bad, kind of, reading these letters that you weren't supposed to read, but
Yeah, no, I do think that there's probably like, because like the letters themselves had like, I hate to like, this is probably like one of the big connections between Flora and I. We love drama. and that was a envelope full of tea. And so like, there probably was a bit of that of just being like, this is drama that he is detached from, so like he's reading that and everything, but also at the same time, in those moments where Artemisia was just writing from the heart about it, finding himself like understanding not fully what she was talking about, but the emotions she was having from it and the feeling she was having for that.
do you think Florin ever imagined meeting the letter writer?
Absolutely not. Not
Just
even
like-
a little.
Just like almost, I guess, in a way, the way Artemisia wrote these letters to Viscaris, not really knowing Viscaris, having sort of a picture of Viscaris, that Florin almost reads them with an imaginary Artemisia in mind. And so now you've met real Artemisia, and this is different. It's a lot. And I have to imagine that while you feel bad that you read the letters, would Florin go back and not do that?
Oh, you're saying like if he did know Artemisia and those letters arrived.
If you knew this is where it was gonna land,
Oh.
do you think you would have not done it? Or do you think this was always kind of gonna happen? And that maybe you got something out of reading those letters?
Oh, that is such a good question. These are great character development questions. You should be writing these down.
Write a book or something.
Oh, it's like
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Well, okay, no, if
Here's a different question.
okay, no,
Okay.
here's the thing. I think Florin would be worried about changing anything that has happened.
Ooh.
And so going back, he probably still would have done the same thing if he had known Artemisia beforehand, and those had showed up. Absolutely not would have read those at all.
All right. Well, as you walk, question. There was the suggestion you should go talk to your dad. Are you looking for Llorkh, or are you avoiding Llorkh?
I mean,
Or are
I
you
kind
not
of
even
assumed
thinking about it?
Llorkh was going to cross paths with him walking around at
Well,
some
I
point.
will give you this. I will absolutely give you this. You're a spy. You could absolutely dodge Llorkh if you wanted.
Nah, he wouldn't.
Okay. You're walking through Llorkh. You come around a corner near a fountain, and there is Llorkh. as if he was waiting for you. He says, "Rough night at the poetry reading?"
I mean, no, I think it was fine. It was mainly Sturge and Stong and other Stong that were being weird, but everything else was good. How about you? Did you enjoy the open bard night?
I learned some interesting things.
Not the kind of entertainment you get down in the hells.
I don't really like going back to the hells, or I at least assume that my progenitor doesn't. I don't think I ever really do go back to the hells. I think connecting this place to the hells would cause a lot of problems.
I hadn't actually thought about that. I think I just kind of assumed that there was a full existence on the other side here and that there were reverses.
Like we have a shadow hell.
Yeah, Shadow Hell. So maybe we should suggest that to that Githyanki band for a name.
That would not be bad. Mortals would eat it up.
It's true. They
Shadow
like
everything.
a good name.
But no, this isn't a whole other prime material. This is all an illusion.
So you're an illusion?
I prefer to think of myself as perhaps beginning as an illusion, but taking a fully formed, self-identified truth.
Here's a question
I am
for you.
bigger than what I was. What's that?
Let's say that, you know, we stop things, this plane of existence continues going on. If there was a chance that if you went to the real world, you just stopped existing, would you go or would you stay here?
An interesting question.
Because we don't know what will happen if you were to go to where, you know, I'm from.
That's fair. You saw someone leave. You didn't see someone continue.
True.
Would I rather not exist than be here? What an existential question. Literally. Do you think this place is so bad?
Honestly, no. That's kind of why I want to help save it. There's people here living their lives. We just had an open bard night where everybody was enjoying themselves. I don't think that should end just because it's a quote-unquote illusion.
But sometimes you have to make a difficult calculus.
If it comes to that, I'm hoping it doesn't.
You've been here before, though, haven't you? He had. You have to choose the good of the many or the good of the few. You have to choose.
If I have to choose whether or not this world continues on or getting home?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as everybody else got back and the world continued, yeah.
You'd sacrifice yourself for a world that might all be false.
It's weird, right? But it's... Because I would do that at home. Like, I would do that, you know, if it's just like, oh, the Wizards of Thay are going to blow up all of Toril. Yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to stop that. I'm not from here. This isn't Toril. This is a shadow of Toril. But I still see the same emotions in people here that I see there. There's still people existing for the same reasons they exist where I'm from. So why shouldn't they get to exist?
Let me ask you a different question. If this world is going to just be destroyed, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, but you can save yourself, are you still going to decide to play the hero?
I don't know. I think that's one of those that I'm going to have to see what happens when I get there.
What an idealist.
I mean, I probably wouldn't have made it that far as a Harper if I had been a cynic the entire time.
Maybe you'd make it farther.
Hmm.
You hear the sound of someone running. And Stong number one, I gotta keep mixing them up. Stong number one comes up, he's like, oh, Oh, Florin! They suggested that I find you and give you some advice. Oh, your dad's here! Great, we can tag team him. Have you already covered? Follow your heart.
You know what? Florin's gonna cross his arms and he's looking at Llorkh and go, "No, we hadn't gotten to that part yet. Why don't you lead off on that one?"
Suddenly, in the distance, you hear the sound of horns, alarms going off from the wall. And Stong number 1 whips toward it, and he goes, "Oh, I have to go!" And he tears off running.
Are those good horns?
No, those are generally bad horns!
Shit.
He's gonna, huh?
Go ahead.
His instinct would be to look at Llorkh and be like, "We'll pick up on this later," and is gonna go running after Stong 1.
All right. The 3 of you outside the wall, you step out of the portal. You feel that pulsing continue. You look out across the field. In the distance, at the confluence of the rivers, there is a figure. It is a woman, wrapped in pale veils, floating off the ground, arms extended. All around her are the Droudnu, the staple demons.
Like, how many?
You count 4 from where you are. There's something moving in the water. And you hear a melodic voice whisper in your ears. The breach cannot be allowed. And that seems like a wonderful place to stop.
Guys, it's her. It's her.
Final Fantasy fight music starts playing.
I've been your DM, Aaron M. Evans. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Aaron M. Evans. You can listen to my podcast, Writing About Dragons and Shit, with B. Dave Walters and Trevor Bettis. Although our new episode is just me and Trevor.
Yeah.
Going up later this week.
Oh, that went out today.
Oh, went out today? My God, you're fast. How exciting. We literally recorded it today, guys. You can join me on this channel on Mondays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific for Concentration Check, a co-writing space with me and Yang Yang. And next week, Monday and Tuesday, I will be at Dragonsteel in Salt Lake City. So if you are around, come and say hi. I've got some signings. I've got a panel. And it will just be a fun time. And what else? Oh, I'll save that one for later. And if you want to check out, or you should check out our sponsor, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms at idlechampions.com.
Hey, I've been Rian and Held. I'm going into my quiet season as far as cons, so check out my books, my Urban Fantasy the Silver Series, Anthropological Werewolves, are under Rian and Held, and then my space opera series under RZ Held, they're novellas, so you can try out the first one, get a little bite-sized chunk of the adventure and romance and all that good stuff. And tonight, thank you to our moderator, Myrdud.
Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Yang Wang, and you should join us on Discord because it's an awesome place where you could chat, follow us, follow what we're up to, and chat with our wonderful community. We talk like books, movies, games, all the wonderful things, and you could get updates on the things that we're up to, like the updates that Aaron and Rhiannon just shared. Also is a place where we'll be doing a number of giveaways because we have succeeded in our Extra Life goal this year. Thank you everybody who donated and everybody who was there with us. Basically, I'm going to start running them whenever I had some time, away from my busy work deadlines. It should be either tomorrow or Friday. But the giveaways that we're starting are 5 copies of Empire of Exiles from Aaron and one $100 gift card from phoenixdice.com. So we're going to have that giveaway running for about a week before the winner is chosen. So join our Discord to join that giveaway tomorrow or Friday. Join Friday and it will definitely be up.
Right on. I'm Stephen Merlino. I write epic fantasy, sword, and sorcery. Right now, my first novel, The Jack of Souls, is free on Amazon. In it, you'll find immortal horses, their tyrannical riders, and a cursed rogue who dabbles in forbidden magic to make it all stop. My current writing project is a D&D campaign called The Affairs of Wizards, currently in playtest, but which we'll run on this channel in February. Looking forward to that.
And I've been Trevor Bettis. I'm the writer for All Champions of the Forgotten Realms. So yeah, definitely do go play it because eventually you'll get the stuff that I wrote. You can follow me on all the dystopian social medias at the Trevor. There's an A hiding in there.
Before we go, I just wanted to say quick thank you to all of our subscribers. Meyer Duck, thank you for the bits. We appreciate everything you do. Your support helps us make cool content like this, and future content like Steven's game. So thank you again for all of your support, and until next week.
May your word count and your rolls be equally high.